This was pointed out to me like right as we were going live, basically. This tweet from Alex Appleyard about news that has come out about potential early arrival of the mad Russian himself.
A Russian. To be clear, this is a this is a Russian language article that no one has actually like fact checked or knows for sure if it's real because it's Russian.
It's in Russian, Charlie. It has to be real.
I was going to say they don't lie.
Like, we're all just throwing this into Google Translate. But here's the thing: this is what the Michkov saga is going to be. This is what it is. Like, it's going to be parsing these poorly translated reports to try to figure out what is actually going on.
And the logical way to move forward with this is to believe the ones that you like and not believe the ones that you don't.
Exactly.
I can't believe either of you would hint. I can't believe either of you would hint at the possibility that there might be some Russian disinformation on the internet.
Never.
I can't believe, anyway, as 50% of our audience tunes out. This is kind of wild. I mean, who the hell knows? If any of this, again, it's a Russian, no one, we don't know the Russian journalists, you know? Like, who
truly don't.
You guys could call us Russian journalists.
This is the most important thing in the Flyers' entire rebuild, the organizational direction,
ecosystem.
Yes, everything surrounding the Flyers. The most important thing is Matvei Michkov comes over and is a star.
Yes.
Hopefully a superstar.
Yes.
Would be cool.
We have been operating under the assumption it's going to be the 3 full years, 2 more from now. Now, it was, last summer that he was drafted.
Which is always the safest way to look at it.
Hope for sunshine, prepare for rain.
Right.
I'm starting to really get my hopes up.
Yeah.
There was always the little part of me that was like, he's going to come over early and it's all going to work out. And then there's the, normal part of me that goes, you fucking idiot. This is the Flyers.
Yeah. Are you feeling hopeful?
Somebody's going to go right for the Flyers?
Yeah.
Come on.
This is just a little, how does this make you feel? Like the idea that there might be a decision, today's the last day of April. The gist of this, based on the Appleyard tweet, is like, we could know by June if Matvei Michkov is going to be a Flyer in October.
I feel tingly. That's exciting.
I mean, assuming this report is accurate, this guy, Medvedev, is the chairman or one of the chairmans or whatever of SKA, the team, not Sochi, the team that he played for, but the actual team that owns his rights. Yeah. Yes, because that was a loan. Basically open the door, if we assume this interview is accurate and a true retelling of what he said, he opened the door to the possibility of Michkov coming over early. He more or less said that it would have to include some type of out clause where the Flyers can't send Michkov to the AHL, that if the Flyers want to do that, they'd have to send him back to Russia. This has been done before with other players, but the positives of this report, number one, is that they're at least apparently thinking about it, which seems like progress. They would make a decision by the end of June. And I thought this was, out of the quickly done Google Translate version of the article, it seems like this chairman is positively predisposed towards the Flyers, where he has said he said in this article basically that the Flyers obviously want Michkov to come over, understandably, but they aren't being jerks about it. That they are basically saying, we will fully, adhere to the contract. We're not going to try to get around it. No. And if the Flyers are playing this well, which it seems like they are, especially based on the way they played the Fedotov thing, that to me is the best sign out of this, because the people, the oligarchs in Russia, the guys running the show, legitimately, the worst thing you can do is tell them they can't do something.
Yes.
Because if you even hinted that, then they'll be like, well, screw you. He ain't never going to leave. He's going to be here until he's 40.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it seems like, at least based on this article, that the Flyers are playing this right.
What if Philadelphia becomes the preeminent location for every sick Russian player? They all want to play here because we're so nice to them. Jonesy.
Ovi ends up breaking the goal record here for some reason.
He just comes here at the end of his career. We just plant him in his spot. And
I'll tell you, I guess the reason I am feeling more, because who the hell knows about this article and the sourcing? Again, no idea.
Yeah, it's Russia.
But the reason I guess I'm feeling a little more optimistic than ever is it has to do with our mailbag question of the day. Normally we do this at the end, but it's fucking Matvei Michkov. We're going to talk about it, especially
No rules.
because this was tweeted at me a couple of days ago, and it's from 8 Kimchi Killa 8. Great name. What do you guys think of Michkov being left off of the Team Russia roster?
know
And I
that.
think it was their U25 roster.
Yeah, well, the part about it that raised eyebrows was that Roman Rottenberg, who is the coach, owner, GM, everything of SKA, was also the coach of this U25 team. Rottenberg clearly did not view Michkov as being worthy of being on his team last year, which was weird given the fact that Michkov was real good on Sochi. It just seemed like he kind of had a grudge against Michkov for whatever reason, whether that was personal dislike, whether that was frustration that Michkov eventually wants to go over to North America. Who knows? It just seemed like Rottenberg kind of had a bug up his ass about Michkov, and the fact that he was getting held off the under-25 team raised concerns that that bug remained firmly up his ass.
I simply cannot believe a professional hockey coach would have a personal vendetta against a young,
that would
skilled
never
player.
happen. That would never happen.
Never
That's
happens.
wild, man.
Nah.
Never.
That's fucking
You'd
wild.
have to be
What a
real crazy.
What a
Yeah.
crazy place Russia is. But the thing, the first thing I looked at was, all right, let me look at this roster. And I know none of these players because they're all Russian prospects under 25 mostly.
yeah.
There's like half of them are
Sure.
like have been drafted. But Michkov is a 2004 birthday. Only one guy on the team is an 04, and it's a goalie. I think there's an 03 defenseman, and the youngest forward is an 02. So it is like they have a ton of good players
Yeah.
who are older than him.
Fair.
It's not his turn. But he just went 7th in the draft, had an awesome season in the KHL.
While
And you
playing
look
through
at-
pneumonia.
Yeah, and was sick half the time.
Yeah.
And then you look at the whole coaching situation, like, oh, okay, so it's the coach that doesn't like him and ultimately led to his loan. And
Yeah.
so, like, you put all these pieces together, and it just feels like momentum. And I am not encouraging anyone to, like, get their hopes up, but, like, we had that conversation yesterday.
I'm not encouraging anyone to get their hopes up, but get your hopes up.
No, like, we had the conversation yesterday, like, which is worse? And it's like the Sixers, it's the hope that'll kill you.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to get their hopes up, but it does feel like there's a momentum building, and maybe, just maybe, something is starting to turn for this team luck-wise.
Okay. I don't want to say that out loud too many times because I feel like the whole beginning of the season, we were like, look at this. Things are starting to happen for the Flyers. We're getting the bounces. Things are going well. Suddenly, not bad luck at every possible turn. And then, Carter Hart happened, and I just don't want to tempt the gods too much.
I mean, like this
with
is all great, and then in 3 weeks, like Tyson Forrester will get diagnosed with like an autoimmune disorder. Like that's Flyers hockey.
Yeah. Travis Sanheim has been consumed by
no.
flesh-eating bacteria.
No,
in the
you know
Caribbean.
what's Canada Day and 4th of July coming up, man? There's fireworks.
Someone's wrist could be broken while playing beer pong.
Yeah, who knows? Someone
And
could
It was
Just-
golf, Kelly.
No, that was
He played beer pong with the
That's-
broken
He
Oh,
wrist.
played
yeah.
with the broken wrist, and no, his golf club exploded and
As they
somehow
do.
cut his hand.
Sure.
Yeah, that happens. Golf clubs explode. You probably just didn't get pissed and bang it against a tree.
Nah. He would never.
That's something Claude Giroux would never do.
This
responsible.
exactly why I'm not encouraging anyone to get
Yeah.
their hopes up, man. But I am allowing myself to live in this world where next year, because we talked about this at the end of the season. Like, all right, they might make some subtractions. Danny doesn't think it's time to turn the corner, and he's right. It's not. Like, this team is nowhere near ready to compete. Watch the playoffs. Some of these teams that are about to be eliminated tonight are considerably better than the Flyers.
Yes, correct.
But if we're just going to do this again, like, what's the point? We're just going to kind of run it back. That kind of sucks, just from a narrative of the season standpoint. Like, yeah, we're going to watch young players develop and stuff, but in terms of the point of the season, I don't know. They're not going to be as good as they were last year, and they didn't make the playoffs. So now it's just like there might be a point to this. And the point is the most important thing. It's Michkov.
And now Danny's got to load up this summer. Sign Stamkos. Trade for Nylander.
We'll get to Stamkos, Kelly.
All right, sorry. Jumping
That's
the gun.
later.
No, we're going to say that it makes absolutely zero sense.
I don't think it makes zero sense. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Unless you have someone to feed him that one-timer on the power play.
Hey-o.
And he's that guy.
We all silly like the mayor.